Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're diving into the world of TypeScript and exploring one of its most powerful features, async await. If you're ready to unlock the full potential of TypeScript and take your coding skills to the next level, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Today, we'll be focusing on async await, a syntactic sugar built on top of promises. It's a powerful tool for handling asynchronous code in a more concise and readable way. We'll explore how to write asynchronous functions, handle errors, and deal with multiple promises using async await. Make sure to stay until the end, where we will talk about a few best practices when working with async await. So, what exactly is async await? Well, async await is a syntax introduced in 2017 that simplifies working with promises, making asynchronous code appear and behave more like synchronous code. It provides a more linear and intuitive flow, making your code easier to read and understand. Async await is built upon two fundamental keywords, async and await. The async keyword is used to define an asynchronous function, while the await keyword is used to pause the execution of an asynchronous function until a promise is resolved or rejected. Let's dive into writing our first asynchronous function using async await. To define an asynchronous function, we simply add the async keyword before the function declaration. This tells TypeScript that the function will contain asynchronous code. In this example, we define an asynchronous function called getData using the async keyword before the function declaration. Within the function, we use the await keyword to pause the execution until the promise returned by the fetchData function, which is assumed to return a promise, resolves. We then use await again to get the resolved JSON data from the response object. Finally, we return the data. If an error occurs during the execution of the promises, for example network error or invalid response, it will be caught by the catch block, allowing us to handle it gracefully. In this example, the error is logged to the console and rethrown for further handling if necessary. It's important to note that the function containing the await keyword must be marked as async. Otherwise, you'll encounter a syntax error. This is because the await keyword can only be used within an async function. Let's take a look at how we can handle multiple promises using async await. In this example, we define an asynchronous function called getMultipleData using the async keyword before the function declaration. Inside the function, we create three promises: promise 1, promise 2, and promise 3, assuming each of them represents a separate asynchronous operation, for example API calls. We then use the await keyword to pause the execution and wait for each promise to resolve. By assigning the results to separate variables, result 1, result 2, and result 3, we can work with the resolved values independently. If an error occurs during the execution of any of the promises, it will be caught by the catch block. In this example, the error is logged to the console using console.error and then rethrown using throw_error to propagate the error further for additional handling if needed. Before we wrap up, let's talk about some best practices when working with async await. Always handle errors using try-catch blocks to prevent unhandled promise rejections and ensure graceful error handling. Use async await when working with promises that depend on each other or need to be executed sequentially. When dealing with independent promises that can be executed concurrently, consider using promise.all or promise.race for efficient parallel execution. We hope you found this introduction to async await helpful and that it inspires you to explore this powerful feature further in your TypeScript projects. Don't forget to like this video if you found it useful, subscribe to our channel for more beginner-friendly programming tutorials, and hit the notification bell to stay updated. Thank you for joining us today. Happy coding, and we'll see you in the next video.